what all has happened and playing at guard, what it's meant to you, or what it's been like, and recap the offense for us.
Yeah, a lot of growth. That's been the biggest thing, and just kind of seeing people step up, rise up, and for me playing guard, it's been a lot of learning. Moving inside is kind of something that I want to do, and it's been really hard, because you're moving from tackle, you got a lot of space, to now you're moving inside, and everything's happening bam, bam, bam. And so, just kind of getting comfortable in that spot, learning how to pull and being a guard. And so it's been a lot of learning, but it's been a lot of fun because, I'm learning something new and just trying to get better each and every day.
Larry, from your vantage point, what have y'all got done this spring?
Oh man, we've got a lot done as a defense this spring. Like I told you guys at the beginning of the spring, one thing we wanted to work on is just getting everybody on the same page, get that communication, and everybody rolling. And now we just flying around, playing fast, having fun back there.
Two-parter. You used some 3-3-5 the other day. I want to get your thoughts on that. And then what all exactly positions can you play?
Larry Worth, for one, he could play every position on the field, in the back end and on the second level. So on that 3-3-5, I definitely love it, switching up, giving offense a different look. So I feel like that's a great thing.
Larry, last year you were kind of one of the guys, and this year you're kind of the guy back there as far as people counting on you and stuff. You feel like your leadership's really taken another step this spring?
I would definitely say my leadership has taken another step. That was one thing I wanted to focus on this off season, which is getting all the guys on the same page, get everybody on the same boat. Now we got this ship just rocking going forward.
Fernando, last year you played tackle. This year, like you said, you moved inside. But how's the other guys like Corey, Kittler, and the newcomers, Shaq, those guys, you feel like they've really taken a lot of steps since the first spring, 14 practices later?
They've taken huge steps, coming in from that first practice, obviously a new playbook for them and a lot of learning for them, but they all learned really quick. And, Corey is a special talent. That guy can pass, protect his butt off, and so I'm really excited to play next to him. And Kittler, he has this dog mentality, and so I really just love the growth in between those two. And then Shaq is just kind of that, he's gonna be our glue guy, and he's really showing tremendous growth and just kind of his mental. He's a younger guy, but he's starting to realize, I'm about to be playing on Saturdays and I got to really lock in. And so you've just kind of seen him grow that mindset of like, what, this is going to be my life and let me lock in. And so it's been really fun to see being an older guy and watching that younger guy kind of just grow each and every day.
You've shown versatility, but so has Amarian Harris, playing both spots. You got Kobe Branham coming back. Can this line, I don't know if you like to compare, but can this line be better than it was last year, in your opinion?
It will be better than it was last year, and I know that for a fact. Just the way the group is, the way we've meshed, in these 15 practices, and just the depth that we have. E can move in and out. Kobe coming back, having that knowledge. Caden bringing in Corey, bringing in Shaq, having Keyshawn come back for another year. A lot of the freshmen coming in. These guys are stepping up, playing great ball, learning the offense really fast. It's been amazing. This group has really grown, from what I came into last year to what we are now. It's a whole 360 and, it's a whole 180 of the group that we had last year.
Larry, Selman Bridges and the other guys back there in the back end, the cornerbacks, do you feel like they're taking a giant step since they know they're going to get to play? Last year they were kind of buried there. Singletary and them, do you feel like they've taken some steps forward?
I would say all those guys have took a tremendous leap from practice one, even from just last week. Like every practice, those guys are taking a tremendous leap. And like he was just saying, with those guys, like they understand, like there's not the next man up. And like you got to play right now. We need guys that can play right now. All of them are starting to buy in and understand that it's not just a two-man rotation. We need everybody, So all those guys are definitely taking a tremendous step.
You guys were both portal additions last year. Larry, you came late. Fernando, you were early. I was wondering, with it being open now, are you guys kind of keeping your eye out for different players that are popping in, or what kind of involvement do you have with that?
Yeah, I don't have too much involvement right now. Obviously, like, if the coach is like, hey, I want you to reach out to this guy, help me recruit this guy, I'm going to be on it right away. Because at the end of the day, this is the SEC, and this is the best of the best, and that's who we want to come in. And, like I said, being in the SEC, we're going to get beat down. We're going to need everybody. From the ones to the twos to the threes to the fours, we're going to need everybody. So, whenever they ask for help in the portal, we're going to be there. But as of right now, we're just kind of laying back and seeing how it all shakes out.
I would kind of say my involvement is the same as Fernando's. Like I'm not really involved, but if they need any way I can make the halls better, I'm gonna do that. So that's what I would say.
Just a question for both of you. I was wondering if there's a certain player on the team, if you could pick a guy out who maybe you didn't have high expectations for, or maybe you didn't know anything about, who has really either progressed in a huge way or has just really surprised you. It doesn't have to be offensive line or secondary, just maybe somebody you're going against or offensive line or secondary, just your pick.
I got mine for sure. I would say one guy. It's not that I didn't have high expectations for him. I just didn't know what to expect. I would say Mike Washington, the running back, for sure. Like I give like that's one of the like people have to practice. I just have to dap him up. It's one of those practice. So like Mike is one of those running backs, man. I have to like strap up for real. I got to put a mouthpiece in, put some more air in my helmet, like for real, for real. Like if I don't come correct with Mike, I'm getting embarrassed. So I definitely like. I truly appreciate Mike. He's definitely made me better this spring, and I can't wait to see what he do in the fall.
Yeah, I think for me, Ian Gaffard and then Danny, I don't know what his last name is, but those two guys have stepped up in a huge way. Obviously, we had EG, Cam's hurt right now, and EG took off for the draft. And those guys have, really stepped up into that, that starting role and showed like, hey, I'm here to play and I'm gonna play my best ball. And they've shown me like, hey, I need to bring my A game every single day. And it's been great for me because I've been growing, they've been growing, and we just been getting better together.
Another guy I will also say too that I just thought about too on the offensive side is Raylan Sharp, the receiver. He's shifty, he's quick, so he is another one of them you got to bring an A game, but you can't take a play off with him. So I like that versatility that he brings to the offense for sure.
Larry, obviously being a late addition last year, looking back on it, just maybe what were the challenges of not being here last spring compared to this year?
Only challenge I would say is you have to pick up on everything a lot quicker. I didn't have that spring to actually like pick up on things, so mine was summer workouts. I really didn't have time to get really close with the guys, it was just straight bam, bam, bam. I'm in the fall. So now with me being able to settle down and slow down, everything's like slowing down for me, and I'm just having fun now at this point.
And then Fernando, for you, Rodney came in late last year, and then you talked about all the meshing and how the team's closer together this year. Can you maybe learn something from having Rodney come in late last year with the inevitable turnover that's going to happen at some point?
Most definitely, we're going to get a lot of new guys, or we're going to get some guys, and the biggest thing being leaders, me and Larry and some of the other leaders, is we're going to have to bring them in with open arms and, show them what the culture is here and what the standard is. And so that's just kind of the biggest thing, is these guys coming from different schools. They have different standards, different cultures, and, bringing them in with open arms, but also showing them, there's a standard that you're going to be upheld to. And, if you live up to that standard, then we're going to ride with you and you're going to ride with us.
A couple more 3-3-5 questions for you guys. I know, Larry, last year you guys did that, but it kind of was having a third safety on the field. This year it's a lot more of that third linebacker with Shaw. Is there anything different when it goes from maybe you being the third safety to now a third linebacker on the field in that formation?
It really doesn't change much. It's just kind of like giving the offense a different look, just putting different bodies in different spots. And I would feel the reason we can do that now this year is I feel like we're more talented. We have more pieces so we can move guys around a lot more.
Going up against that formation, I know the defense did it a lot on Saturday in the scrimmage. What are some things that make it difficult? Are there, any things you think like the defense really needs to, to work on when they go to that 3-3-5?
Yeah, there's not really much they need to work on. They played us hard Saturday, and as an offense, we didn't have the performance we wanted to. But I think just kind of the way they're able to disguise blitzes and bring stuff off the edge that these safeties are kind of rotating, you don't even see it, and it just happens like that. And, that's just kind of T. Will's defense is, it's a lot of different looks, and then the blitzes come at you. And it's really a lot on the offensive line eyes because we're looking up, we're trying to see what's going on. And it's like, man, it just seems like chaos sometimes. But, that's what makes them special, and that's what makes the defense kind of run.
You guys have had, I guess, 13 practices now with Madden, Yamaliava. What's he like off the field? We've seen him, on the field, the arm's impressive, but what's he like in the locker room around the guys and everything?
Coolest person, the most laid back person you'll ever meet, ever. He's young, he's having fun, but he's a great kid, doesn't cause any trouble at all, And like you said, that's off the field. But on the field, he's not afraid to sling the ball. He's not afraid to make his reads at all. Great kid.
Yeah, off the field, he's been amazing. Being a West Coast guy, I wanted to introduce myself to him first and just kind of get in front of him. And he's been amazing. You know, he just wants to soak in everything. He's trying to learn every single day from Taylor Green. And, you know, on the field, he's a tremendous competitor. And I think I said this maybe in my last interview is, you know, even if he's not playing, he's in the back making down the reads, doing the check downs. And it's like, that kind of mindset, it's like this kid's going to go far, and yeah, he's going to be a baller here.
Do you recognize that laid back personality Larry's talking about as a California thing?
Yeah, a little bit. I think definitely, and I think that's why we kind of hit it off so much at the beginning. Is, you know, we kind of matched the same vibe, and you know, I was really appreciative to have another West Coast guy in the locker room with me.
We were talking a little bit before y'all first came in about the weather on Saturday. Are y'all kind of keeping an eye on that? Are y'all hopeful that you'll be able to get in front of the fans and stuff?
Most definitely. These are our last spring games, and, you know, we owe it back to you guys. You know, you guys don't get football for another few more months, and we want to show you guys the product that we've been working on for these last 14 practices. And we want to show you guys what we have in, you know, our arsenal and what it's going to look like next year, because I think you guys are going to be happy with the product that we have on the field.
And then also on Saturdays we don't get to choose the weather, so we don't really care about the weather that we go out there and play in. But I feel like he said, we owe it to the fans. And then another thing too, you just never know what fan you're going to encounter. Like, you never know what little kid day you're going to make. So just being able to get out in front of them and have fun with those kids and give them like a lifelong memory, that means a lot.
And then I don't know if y'all keep up with the news or whatever, but like Deion Sanders last month I think came out with this idea of doing a scrimmage against another team as a spring game. I'm curious, from a player's perspective, is that something y'all would like to do if it was, you know, legal by the NCAA?
I wouldn't mind it. I'm a fan of competition, whichever way it comes, and I think a little bit sometimes it kind of gets a little bit old practicing against, like, you know, the same people, the same looks. You get kind of the same moves. So yeah, I think it would be a nice little refreshing kind of aspect to, you know, play somebody else, and it kind of gives you something to look forward to, you know, towards that last game. Not saying that I'm not looking forward to the spring game, but, you know, it would be nice.
I definitely agree with Fernando. You get tired of beating up on the same color and your buddies all day. You get ready to beat up on somebody else, you know.
For both of you, I mean, how does the vibe of practice change? How does the vibe of the team change, if at all, you know, right when the clock strikes week of the spring game?
I wouldn't say the vibe changed at all. It's just, especially for the seniors, it just gets more urgent, you know? Like, this is our last ride. This is our last, like, today is literally our last spring. It's crazy saying that. This is my last spring practice ever in college football. So it's just going out there and, like, not even on a serious note, just having more fun and just, like, doing things that you wouldn't usually do, you know, just like not even in a bad way, but just going out there and having more fun. Y'all see, I always say fun. Like, I'm big on having fun because I'll never get this time back, you know. I'll never get this time back in front of you guys. So just having fun and just soaking up every moment, I feel like that would be the biggest vibe change, I would say.
Yeah, I think Larry hit it on the nose, just going out there, realizing the urgency of getting better right now. We only have 15 practices to get better, and, you know, when you go out there and step on the field and the buzzer strikes for that first period, you realize, you know, you're not going to get that time back. So go all to the wall and give it everything you got.
And Fernando, for you, with the offense not having the day that it wanted in the scrimmage, would you chalk that up to a little bit of the growing pains, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think we all have our days. You know, sometimes you go out there and the ball's not falling the way you want it to fall. And I think it starts obviously with the offensive line. We had to protect better that day. And I think we had a lot of mishaps. And, you know, there was a lot of things that we could have done better to obviously get us into the end zone, give us that, you know, that little edge to kind of get us going. And I think as an offensive line, we just got to step up earlier in those scrimmages and show, hey, we're gonna set the tempo, we're gonna set the pace for the game, and you know, have everybody else follow after us.
Would you say, I guess, that like being in the stadium is like I guess compared to practice is like, you know, a better learning experience for like the newer guys on the line?
Most definitely. You know, stepping into that stadium means everything. When you step in there, you're playing for not even yourself, but you're playing for the people that played back in the past 20 years from now. And so, you know, there's definitely a sense of it's bigger in the stadium, but that's good. You know, that pressure kind of adds to the aspect of practice, and it makes you play better, and it adds to the element of getting better at practice.
Your impression of the scrimmage Saturday seemed like a good day for the defense.
I would say it was a good scrimmage, but just you can't just base the scrimmage off of that. I would say there's a lot of things that we need to learn from and get better at. Even though it's a good day, it's also like things that we got to work on. And just like even though they had not necessarily a bad day, it's just what can we take from this scrimmage and what can we grow further from for the next scrimmage or Saturday.
Larry, you mentioned Raylan and Mike a minute ago. I was curious, when you're lined up at Hog, you could be, you don't know, you could be covering Raylan, or you could be having to tackle Mike.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult is that to have to be good at covering, tackling a physical back, but also a shifty wide receiver?
In a situation like that, that's why I just got to thank God for my God-given ability, so everybody can't go out there and do that, so that's what comes with, like, playing Hog, so you got to be up for that challenge to be able to go fit the run and also cover a shifty receiver like that, so.
We kind of take, I guess, Xavier for granted a little bit, but he had 2 huge plays in the scrimmage Saturday and he's had a really good spring. Just your thoughts on what he means to the defense.
Man, I love Soren. That's my brother, literally, like on and off the field, and I don't take him for granted at all. And the defense, I could tell you for sure, the defense doesn't take him for granted. Everybody's not a loud-spoken person. He's just like more of a laid-back person, but I promise you he's going to get that job done every single time on and off the field.
Yeah, I'm just extremely grateful that he's on our team, and I get to go up against him every day at practice because he makes me better. And just the way his physicality and his speed, it's made me such a better player from going up against him every single day because he is a special talent, and he kind of gets that defense going because he's just that guy.
You were talking about Madden earlier, both of you. I was wondering if either of you could pronounce his last name, or would like to make an attempt.
Iumalule, yeah.
I'm going to just stick to Madden.
Miguel came in last year, and we never had an interview thing with him. Could you tell us a little about who he is and just his skill set? What do you think of him?
Miguel's a great person on and off the field for sure, and his skill set, like I said in my first meeting here, he can ball skills great, tackling's great. You need somebody that can come fit in the box, great. All 3 checks the board all across the board, and he's great. And I can't wait to play alongside him this year.
Could you touch on Caleb, maybe a couple other safeties, what you think of him?
I loved all of them. That's one group that I'm very strong on. Caleb, he was a great addition to add from Auburn, and I would say, like, just bringing in that SEC experience, that was, like, a very great thing because, like, it's different. It's different playing this conference, playing SEC after SEC every single week, So Caleb having that experience already was great. I would say Q's been great. He didn't have any SEC experience, but he had previous experience. He's proved a lot, and he's been doing very well. Who else been back there? That's JJ. I would say JJ Shelton, the freshman. He doesn't play like a freshman. I'm pretty sure you guys can see that. So he's been playing that hog position. He's been doing a very well job. And I would say one thing, we've just been trying to bond very well in that group and bring, like, we want to be the closest group on, like, the whole football team this year. So, and I'm pretty sure we've been showing that.
Looks like good news on Braylon Russell with his knee, but when you look at the tailback crew overall, he touted Mike. What do you think about your pack running backs?
Man, we got a lot of great running backs back there. I could talk on and on about them. Braylon obviously getting hurt, that was really scary for us. But, we got Rodney Hill. We got Big Mike. Mike is going to be one of those players where we give him the ball and he's going to make a play and you're going to be like, yeah, that's why we brought him to Arkansas. And there's a lot of other guys back there that have been doing amazing. And AJ Green's been playing amazing. But, that's just a special room. They're really deep. They all care about getting better. And, I love blocking for them because, they help us out a ton. Even when we miss our blocks, they make us right and they make us look good. So I love them all.
You look like you'd be a fun teammate, but I think you're feisty in practice. There was a day about 2 or 3 weeks ago where you were in the middle of a couple of things. Is there something different at practice?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of how I am on the field. There's that switch that needs to be flipped. It's a violent game, and obviously it's all love to my teammates. Whatever happens on the field doesn't get carried over in the locker room, and it gets squashed right then and there. And, that's just part of the game. The emotions run high, and, but we're all competing. And like kind of we said earlier in a few other questions is like you're beating up on the same guys, and it just kind of gets frustrating because you're just like, man, I love you as a brother, but like I'm just tired of seeing you. I'm tired of hitting you, man. I need a new face. So, springtime does get a little bit hectic and it gets a little bit chippy, but that's the beauty of football.
Last year when Harrison got here, he'd been out of football for quite a while, playing baseball. Have you seen him being maybe more comfortable and just fit? And how much has he improved his game from this time last year to now?
He's a baller. He's definitely learning, what it takes. Because like you said, being a baseball player, it's a completely different game. And, just having to build that physicality into himself and, what it takes to play in the SEC. And I think he learned that last year. And so this year he's just kind of came in and he's been a great leader for that wide receiver room. And he stepped up his game and he's been playing great ball.
With Andrew, Isaac, and Tyrone Broden, those guys gone, can he be that bigger receiver or one of the bigger receivers out there? Because most of them are not that big as him.
Most definitely, yeah. He has that dad bod to him. He has that great size and frame to him, and so yeah, he could definitely be that bigger receiver for us and show up on Saturdays. He's been playing his tail off, and like I said, I think he kind of realized what it takes to play SEC football, and his attention to detail has definitely gone to the point where he's ready to play and make big plays.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're
sorry
all good.
Larry, what have you seen from J.J. Shelton this spring, from maybe start to now? I mean, he really delivered a lick out there Saturday on running back, I think it was.
Yes, sir. The first thing I noticed, I was just like, dang, he's a freshman. Like he's supposed to be going into prom in a couple weeks, So that was the biggest thing, just seeing like the tremendous growth and how mature he was coming straight from out of high school. Speed, physicality is all there. So just being able to be alongside him, he's showed a lot of growth.
You mentioned the challenge of going from tackle to guard. Marion Harris is doing that every day from series to series sometimes. Just what's the challenge of that, and what's it say about him that he's able to do both of those?
Yeah, he does both at an extremely great level and a great, I admire him so much because, he's able to play on the right side, right tackle, switch over to left tackle, move to right guard, move to left guard, and it's, it takes a special talent to do that. And so I've definitely taken a lot from him, being obviously an older guy and he's a little bit younger than me, but, he's able to maneuver so much. So I definitely take everything that he's kind of doing out there, and I take his little tips and bits that he's been kind of telling me. And, it takes a special talent to do that. And so I'm very grateful to have him on our team because he's that guy that could just bounce around, and he's just a really good role model to help me just kind of model my game after.
Appreciate you. Thank you all so much.
Appreciate y'all.